For CES 2024, Razer was so excited about the new displays on its upcoming laptops that it announced some of the details early last week. But now we're here in Vegas to check out what's really going on with the Razer Blade 14, 16, and 18.
Now, the big upgrade for the Blade 16 is clearly its screen, which Razer says is the world's first 16-inch 240Hz OLED display. And I gotta say that even when compared to the Blade 14 and the Blade 18, which both look great, the panel on the 16 just pops a little bit more. Razer is touting a super fast response time of just 0.2 milliseconds and a wide color gamut that covers 100% of DCI-P3. You even get Visa Clear MR 1100 and Display HDR True Black 500 certifications. And while its QHD Plus resolution isn't quite 4K, you can always opt for the dual mode mini LED panel Razer introduced last year. Inside, you get a new 14th gen Raptor Lake Refresh Core i9-14900HX chip and up to an RTX 4090 with a full system TDP of 175 watts. Now, one interesting thing is that while the Razer Blade 16 starting price of $3,000 does sound a bit steep, and it is, that figure does include that brand new OLED display plus a 4070 GPU, which is a lot better than the 4060 cards that you get from a lot of Razer's competitors. As for the Blade 14, it's got the same chassis as last year, but with a new AMD Ryzen 8000 series processor and up to an RTX 4070 GPU with a TDP of 140 watts. As for its display, you're looking at a 16x10 QHD Plus panel with a 240Hz refresh rate. And all this comes in a chassis that weighs just over 4 pounds and measures 0.7 inches thick, which might actually make the Blade 14 my favorite of the three due to its combination of power and portability. I just wish it had that OLED display from the Blade 16. It looks that good. Pricing is still to be determined, though pre-orders are slated for the end of January. Finally, there's the Blade 18, whose most important new feature is the world's first 18-inch 4K 165Hz display. Now, I should mention that this display is so new that the Blade 18 that we saw at CES is using a placeholder lid, so the whole machine is going to be a lot thinner than what you see here at launch. The other big claim is that the Blade 18 will feature a Thunderbolt 5 port, which is the first time I've heard any company pledging to include this connector so far. Unfortunately, that's about all we know for the Razer Blade 18, at least right now, as it's not scheduled to launch until sometime later this year. One final update across the line is that for the entire Blade family, you'll now be able to equip every system with up to 96 gigs of RAM and 8 terabytes of SSD storage, which is an absolute ton, but if you need it, you need it. While we did get to see the Blade 14 in both black and what Razer calls Mercury White, aka silver, all the entire Blade family will be available in both colors at launch, which is the first time for the Blade lineup. So that's just a quick rundown of what Razer is doing for the Blade family for 2024. But for more from everything at CES 2024, remember to stay tuned to Engadget.com and then come back to us on YouTube for more news, videos, and hands-ons.